Hi everyone, it's Stephanie, and I wanted to do a video updating my paper and stamp storage. Ever since I posted my Craft Studio Tour video, and I will put a link to that below, the original one, because this is not going to be a full room tour like the last one. It is just going to be an update on some of my problem areas. And I have been having some really bad luck with video making the last 6 or 7 days, so I have about half a dozen videos that still need to be edited and processed, and so I'm hoping this can be made without too much editing. So I'm going to try not to ramble too much. I'm going to try very hard not to have it shake too much. So this is the main paper storage area, and it remains the main paper storage area. 6x6 pads did not change. This shelf, what's behind the dry erase board, didn't change, and this didn't change. But I brought this paper over. It was originally down here. It was pretty much almost all that was down here. So I brought it to the main paper area. There was a box here that had a light box in it, and I'm not sure I showed that in the last video. But now this is all 8.5 by 11 paper. There's more 8.5 by 11, and then there's 8 by 8 pads down here. They have the title on the spine, so that's good. And then this 8.5 by 11 was on the ground underneath a shelf, and these are all the various $5 value paper pads, best of paper pads that were $5 value from Michael's. And then this box I freed up. I did some other organizing, which I won't really go into too much detail, but I did some other organizing and freed up some boxes. And that box does have paper in it, and it just has more of these paper pads, which used to be in a white bin with some other small paper pads. But since I already have 2 stacks there, all the extras can go in there, and I know that's where they are. These are the 3 6x6 pads that I'm going to use for Christmas cards, so they're out. So the 6x6 pads got cleaned up a little bit slightly reorganized, so I could fit these new 6x6 from Tuesday morning here. And then what was a major change was I moved my scrap paper that was on the Home Depot cart. I moved this over. I added to it, moved it over, and when those papers get used up, I can use this for stamp storage. My embossing heat gun is in here. That is just more of a it needed somewhere to go when I rearranged a different area, but it also makes sense to have it pretty near the doorway, because I plug it in the hallway and use it on the dryer, because it's just convenient to do that. These were in a white bin on a cabinet on the other side of the room, and all these 4x6 paper pads are able to go into here, which used to have stamps in it, and those stamps have moved elsewhere. So as far as paper, that's the major paper area, and so then we can go down to that cart where I had my major problem area was my scrap paper down below, and as you'll see, there are the black boxes instead of these bins of scrap paper. And these boxes were just elsewhere. 2 of these boxes were here, and that was the Studio Calico stamps and the Glitz Design stamps, and those are all the same. And I'll show you just real quick in case you haven't seen the other video, but I do go into more detail about how I stored Studio Calico. But I do like this system better because I can actually just bring this out and, look right here without it falling, or I can bring it out to the table. And this box here is all Christmas stamps, and it's got a label on it. And really, if I want to get into it, and I'm not going to do that right now because this is difficult enough to do one-handed, but it's nice because I can just pull this one off and lift the lid. I don't have to pull that box out. So the fit was much better. So I'm glad I found that option. And then this one is storage of items. It's the same thing. Just I can take this off, and look inside. And I did change what was behind that. I'm not really going to show that, but now it's not stuff that I really ever need to get into. It's for like poly clay stuff and just things that I don't, kind of crafts I don't really do and really don't have most of the supplies for. I don't have any more clay. I gave it all to my mom. So that's just miscellaneous right now, and because I pulled it out the other day and I'm going to use it on a project. So these are the same. These two were miscellaneous bins, and they're not actually miscellaneous. One's a in-progress album from my husband's trip to India. Michael went to India in 2006 for a business trip, and he took some great pictures, though. And then there's Harry Potter stuff in there. Anyway, so it's the same thing. The Do Me kit, leftovers from the Simon Says stamp card kits. The leftovers from Studio Calico card kits, but I did separate, and I showed this on Instagram, I did separate out, and that box is just to keep ongoing, like a 12 by 12 ongoing project, and I have a note of what I want to do with that paper. So anyways, this was, I pulled out these 6x6 from the other 6x6 storage, and so I've always stored these Studio Calico papers in the binder clips, and then I really came in handy when they started doing these paper index. I love these paper indexes, and I take the cover and the back off, and I put a binder clip on them, and I really shouldn't have all this left over from anything, but like some of these I got through last call, so I never even had a chance to use them. Originally, they weren't part of my order. So some of this is miscellaneous. It doesn't have a paper index, so it's just kind of separated for my, like patterns and different things, so I'll remember. But I do plan to use all this up, so I do not want this to get, it won't get, not going to pile up more, because I'm going to try to use my kits, all of the stuff in my kits every month. But this is what I had, so I'm glad I found a storage solution that will actually allow me to, really an organized storage solution, so then I can use those. Okay, so the next thing to talk about then is those bins of scrap paper. Where did they go? Well, they went over here, but they're not the same. When I was going through those scrap paper bins, I discovered that it wasn't just scrap paper, it was also embellishments and memorabilia and photos and things. So I was just throwing projects into these. If I didn't finish a project, it was all going in here to clear off my desk. So now it's just paper scraps. And I have larger paper scraps and then smaller paper scraps. Even though I don't have that labeled that way, I know that there's been a larger and smaller. And then this is the bin of miscellaneous embellishments, and I still need a system for my embellishments because they're kind of all over the place, but that's going to be a next big project, and so it'll take a while. This is a box of the page protectors, and that's just the place I have to put it. And then this is another organizational system. This is now where I keep the projects to get off my desk. No, really, I actually am able to put most things away, but this is where scrap paper goes until I put it in the correct bin, or actually the goal is it's going to get used within a week or so after the original project. The scraps should get used, but if not, then they'll get put into these bins. So that's much more organized for me. But these remain my alpha wood-mounted alpha stamps, and then what I did is I brought over all my other alpha stamps, and I generally look at it from this way. So sorry about the wrong orientation. Okay, and so then I can see all my alpha stamps in here, and then there are some in here as well. And these were in a miscellaneous drawer, so all of my alphas are here, right in this area, and so it's much more convenient. The only thing I worry about is the dogs getting in there, but we'll try to prevent that. So I never did say what was in these the last time I did the other video. This is calligraphy stuff, and I did have a double label, but the top washi came off, so I really just have to write on here. This is my calligraphy stuff and some miscellaneous ink pads that are kind of doubles. And then this is wood burning stuff. And I actually even brought my wood out from the other closet in the office up here. And I might be doing some wood burning projects. And then I did some little minor stamp pad ink reorganization because I got some. I'm going to get some new ones, and I also pulled out my colored pencils to use, and so those took the space where the Simon Says Stamp inks are, but this is where the Simon Says Stamp inks are now. So now I did do only one furniture reorganization, and that was to pull a table that was not being used in another room. It was just sitting in our bedroom, and so I pulled the bins that were on this cart, because this cart was right here. I pulled the bins off and put them under this table, and that worked out fine. And then I had the cart, because it's a roll cart, you know, so it moves back and forth. So I had extra room to add other bins from other areas here. So in the other video I said this was all stamps, and actually that was wrong. One drawer was inks, and that had already been organized. Stays on and chalk inks and different chalk stuff. But these are now all organized. These are all wood mounted stamps. They were wood mounted stamps or rolling stamps, rollograph stamps here. So, and then miscellaneous acrylic blocks, not actual stamp blocks, but just acrylic blocks that I could use for stamping. And the lighting is much worse now than when I tried to do this earlier. So anyways, so now they're just labeled and organized. And the same for the other two drawers over here. This one was always Harry Potter. This one just got a label, and it's like Bears and Disney. Okay. And so then the cart has a bin of stamps on it. That's here. And these are just this size stamps. Maybe it's this size. And it's just easier for me to go through them this way. Lots of cupcakes. Anyway, so then when they were mixed in with the other ones, and then there's the same brand. It's the mini ones. And the wood stamps went better by category, and the clear or cling stamps I tended to do by brand. Okay, this is just a miscellaneous tin. This used to hold my Studio Calico inks after I did the ink reorganization. But now it's just miscellaneous paint samples that I'm going to use in projects. This holds my Studio Calico stamps now, and this just came from a different area. It's just a vintage paper file drawer, which I probably should cover or paint. Ooh, acrylic paint, yeah. So anyway, Studio Calico ink, and I ordered 6 new colors. And so they'll fit right here, and then they all fit really nicely in there. And I think that's good, because as long as everything's together and labeled, it's better than the way it was. So then this is more nature stamps, wood-mounted nature stamps, basically the Stampin' Up ones. But at least they're next to the other nature stamps. These are tags, and then this is an EK Success Fast, and that's my stool, because some people had mentioned that I didn't have anywhere to sit, and that was actually because I took a chair out because the dogs were always getting underneath it. But anyways, so then we have this area, which this was the 3-drawer storage that was over on the tall cabinet, and it was punches. And then I had, in the other video, I showed that I had a bin of Martha Stewart punches over there, and they're all white bins, so I traded it out into a green bin so I could keep all the white bins in one area. So now all my punches are in one spot, and that's really nice. And even this punch, which I had on top of this over there. So those are the knockouts. Still holds Unity stamps for card making. And I should take this price tag off. This is just the ribbon that was still on this cart. And this is just another white. I love to use these Project Life boxes to hold progress, work in progress. This pink thing used to be on the bottom here, and I did show that when I showed this side of my table, and it did have stamps in it when I was down there, even though a lot of this is jewelry stuff. Now there's another box of embellishments and 2 boxes of grunge board that used to be in the shelf behind that cart, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end. So anyway, so now they're organized. These are wood mounted and foam stamps organized, and then a couple of cling that I needed room for, OWH stamps. And this one is a packed full place for travel stamps, places. I've got Egypt and Ireland and Southwest and just basic travel and other things like that. And it's packed full, and there's a couple of layers, but I know it's all travel. Okay, and then down here, these bins, these still hold the same things they held before. My kits, Unity kits. And these I didn't really talk about the last time, but they had already held stamps, and they still do. I just organize them better and put labels on them. And the same with these drawer units here, this 3-drawer unit and the other one down there. These all held stamps, and I just basically, reorganized categories, and now I have a drawer for like dinosaurs, celestial, baby. So they just got labels. And then we go over here, and there were some minor changes in the closet, and also I recently, or actually just last night, I pulled these out of a mini album. I'd already had these made. These are all samples for my embossing folders. And I just was never looking in the mini album, so I just put them, they're pretty sturdy cardstock, so I just put it on a binder ring, and so now I have examples of all my embossing folders, and I'll check and see what I want, and then I'll know it's in the box and look for it. And this box had 2 boxes in it, so those came out, and I was running out of room on my desk for group book, so I pulled the group books and photos out, and now they are in the boxes, and next to it's just Costco's photos, which are, taller, so they needed a spot. Those stamps remained the same. I moved the Stamps of Life from the smaller bin. I'm trying to get this to focus again. And now they just have a larger bin to grow. And this is just a placeholder so that they don't fall down too much, even though they're already falling down. It's the same thing. And then here was where the chic tags came. So all of those chic tags from that one bin came in here, as well as different chic tag stamps and wood veneers. So, and this is, the layouts didn't change. This is part of the paper scraps. I pulled all the solid paper scraps out of those other scrap bins, and so it's all solids, and that's nice to have. And these are 2 important ones that I made. The ribbon's the same, and then this bin is Halloween. So Christmas and Halloween were the big categories, and they got their own boxes. I have lots of Halloween stamps. I need to do some Halloween projects. So I made one bin memorabilia, and this has been really helpful because I use it constantly. I throw things in there so I don't lose track of things I want to put in Project Life, or not necessarily photos, but just other things. Anyways, this bin is all things for card making, and this was all mixed in with the scrap paper, but some of these are cards in progress, and some of them are cards that could be considered finished cards, but just didn't meet what I wanted at the time. So I have all of these things that are card bases or envelopes or things that, for gift wrapping or things like that. And so it's in one bin, and that has been a major improvement, taking that stuff out of the scrap paper. And then the Stamps of Life bin became a bin just for Simon Says stamp, and then I'm labeling, and I just cut off the top, and then I can pull the stamp out of there, and this is really handy, but there is room for growth. Forgot to show these boxes. The back one is the same, Unity stamps, and the front one is Unity Stamp of the Week, and the Stamp of the Weeks have the week number on them. Tim Holtz is together here. I also have 2 other brands because there was some room, even though I did order the new Tim Holtz Stamp Timber set from Simon Says Stamp. I'm excited for that one. It's similar to this one, but it has a couple of the same designs, but they're larger, and each design has a sentiment, which is nice. So then this has Teresa Collins all together, and then 7 Gypsies, and then, oh, there's 4 brands, and then these 2, which mix well with any of these. Stamps here are organized by brand, and I just have fewer of each brand, and then I turn these to where I can see them from the side, and this has actually proven to be easier to look through. And so I've already gotten into quite a few stamps. These are just some of the little loose stamps. Same with these. These are by brand, but now it's easier without the 2 packed full that I had before. I can now just look easier here or pull it out if I need to look at. And I didn't show down here. This is like chipboard. More things for paper crafting. Doilies have 1 box. Sequins have another box. These are things for my businesses, scale, business paperwork, and I elevated my Filofax because I needed some room here because these things got taken off of my desk and they were in my jewelry area, and this is, you know, for me to put my jewelry and things, and I never wear my wedding ring. It's in here because it's just it just gets in the way sometimes when I'm working, and I don't want to damage it when I'm working on jewelry. So that was a little change. And then I forgot one other thing, is these bags are no longer just miscellaneous items. They are paper, and even a magazine rack came in here, and I was able to separate solids from patterns, and then these are labeled with what's, you know, stars or whatever. And this paper ended up being from different kits, mostly Studio Calico kits, or other kind of things that I got, and full sheets of 12 by 12. So this is how I was able to organize them. And so the things that were not 12 by 12 paper got pulled out into the various embellishment bins that I have, and that still need some work for me to organize. Behind there were bins of things, and I was able to clear out quite a few bins, and now I have all my extra I'll just show you real quick what I'm talking about, otherwise it might not make any sense. So then the boxes that have the extra cards are all down there now. And it's all behind my Project Life area, and they used to be scattered around the room, so it's better this way. My YouTube camera got moved, so now I have easier access to my pens. And then this is not a mess on my desk. This is actually a video where I was recapping what I got last week. I made that video. I edited it twice yesterday, and both times my editing software crashed. So I'm kind of getting a little frustrated with my editing software, and if you never see another video again, or you may not even know if I don't get this video up, I'm just having a lot of problems with video making. But I'm excited to still continue to do videos, and thanks for watching, and happy creating. Bye.